Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Welcome back to Clean Consolidated, a Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to the hit CW show Arrow, starring Stephen Mill, David Ramsey, and Emily Beth Rickers. I am Lilith, and joining me, as always, is
Kelly. Hey.
Oh boy, it's been a long Arrow-free summer. I've been really happy, spoiler-free.
Quiver-free?
Spoiler-free, Arrow-free, all that good stuff. It's done wonders for me, honestly. I had no expectations going into this episode, and I think I'm going to stay spoiler-free for the most part. Because it really did help me.
Yeah, I have stayed away from the spoilery places.
I mean, the one thing that I did find out was the new costume, obviously, because I was at Comic-Con, and Diggle's outfit. I got to see the actual costume up close and personal, so it's nice.
Really?
Well, he came out in it.
Yeah, cool.
We'll get there about that nice little nifty new outfit, though. So up for discussion today, of course, is episode 401, Green Arrow. It was directed by none other than Thoyd Fordenthal, director of Hotel for Dogs. And the story was by Greg Berlanti and Beth Schwartz. And the teleplay was by Mark Guggenheim and Wendy Merkel. And the synopsis for this is: Diggle, Thea, and Laurel continue to fight crime in what is now Star City, which was recently named in honor of none other than Ray Palmer. City leadership is Captain Lance and a few other people that we don't care about. They meet to discuss
they'll end up dead anyway.
Yeah, exactly. They discuss the criminals that they've named Ghosts, who are terrorizing the city. Damien Dark shows up and stakes his claim and lets them know what's what. And if they refuse him, they're going to regret it. And they do because, well, they systematically each begin getting assassinated. But of course, Team Arrow saves our favorite Lance. Sorry, Laurel. Meanwhile, Laurel...
What should they have?
Ooh, yes, they should have, because it's Quentin. And there's a twist to this somewhere, dang it. We'll get to that shocking twist in just a second. Laurel and Thea head over to ask for help from Felicity and Oliver. But there's a shocking twist that Oliver and Felicity have been living in some weird suburban nightmare. I mean, heaven. And they seem happy, quote unquote, and Oliver can cook and Felicity cannot, and Oliver wants to pop the question to her, but of course those plans get foiled. Yeah. So, long story short, Arrow comes back, gets a new suit, declares his name as Green Arrow, and we find out that Lance seems to be working with Dark for some unknown reason other than threats of violence.
And he didn't even say come to the dark side, we have cookies.
They don't have cookies with Damien Dark, I can assure you, ma'am. And of course, in those gosh awful flashbacks, We were in Coast City for a moment where we got a glimpse of someone in a flight jacket with the name Jordan on it.
Wonder who that could be.
I know, right? And then Amanda Waller sends him back to Leanne Yu. And I'm like, no! I hate that island. I want somebody to blow that island up, okay?
I thought it was great how they kicked him out of the plane, though.
Oh, it was like a kick in my head. I was really offended. I can't believe...
I was like, oh, Lilith is gonna love this.
Well, no, this gives me hope that we might actually get Russia and that Coast City was a fake out.
That could be.
Because like I was saying at the end of last season, like, all the flashbacks, I've been enduring all these flashbacks for the Russia flashbacks. They were conceptualized as the fun flashbacks. Really interesting, tons of action, not a lot of talky, moody, broody garbage. And so when we were in Coast City, I was just like, I mean, unless he teams up with Hal Jordan before he's the Green Lantern, I don't want nothing to do with Coast City, okay? So my hope for Russia is back on. So fingers crossed for fun, action-packed flashbacks. Oh, God, this is such a mess, though. This episode was a mess. Now, you guys know how I feel about Olicity. And Olicity was out in full force this episode from beginning to end. And I just can't even right now. Like, I'm happy for the Olicity shippers and everything, don't get me wrong. But, I don't know, it just feels so out of place in the show that I've been watching.
The shoe's gonna drop. I'm sure the shoe will drop. Eventually.
I just think it's a mistake because they're not ready for each other. It's very obvious. They can't even communicate what makes them happy. You know,
yes.
Like, it's just all these little red flags. So I'm going to say this to you, Olicity shippers, and I don't mean this in a mean, spiteful way. Enjoy it while it lasts because somebody was in a grave at the end of this episode. And there have been rumors that, you know, about Felicity dying, and I never put any validation into it. But I think that, you know, if we're going to make Oliver actually become the Green Arrow from the comic books, especially if we're going to start that journey, he has to learn all these lessons and start working as a solo vigilante. So it's either Diggle or Felicity that are biting it. Somebody from the original Team Arrow is biting it at the end of the season. That is my best guess.
Or what about Thea?
We just did that, and plus she's speedy.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But she's also acting weird. She's also acting weird, though.
Oliver's acted stranger?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I think we just killed Thea and brought her back, and to kill her off again, I don't think it would be as big an impact. I think Felicity or Diggle is the biggest impact for the show going forward. And as much as I hate it, I have heard rumblings that David Ramsey would like to move on from the character of Diggle, especially since they haven't really given him anything to do in 4 seasons. As well as he has the thing on Blue Bloods, and, you know, he likes to write, and he likes to produce and direct and do all these other things that, you know, standing around with your arms folded, getting a paycheck is nice, but when you're a creative type, you actually want to do things. So my best bet, really, honestly, is Diggle because, well, at the end of the day, he was created for the TV show. Felicity Smoke is actually a character within the DC universe before she came here, so Diggle is my likely candidate, unfortunately. What about you, Kelly?
Yeah. And if that happens and they're at odds with each other,
it's gonna hurt.
Really mess with Oliver said, yes.
It's gonna hurt us. Oliver is like this dense ball of dark matter. Like everything just gets sucked in and never comes out again. I just can't with Oliver. Like he has the emotional aptitude of a rock. Even when he's supposed to be happy, I never really feel it. And I don't mean that about Steven. I totally think that he is channeling everything they're telling him Oliver should be. And I think that's a lot of things people actually miss when they complain about, especially in like the first season and a half of Arrow, where they were like, we feel like Stephen Amell is stilted. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure he's just reacting to what is on the page and what the director is telling him. And it's just like, I just can't with Oliver. That's why I'm glad that it's supposed to be like the rise of the side characters this season. Laurel, she looked really cool, kicking butt, defending her daddy. Her and Thea on the motorcycle. Oh, it was everything I ever wanted.
Yeah, it was great to see action.
The ladies doing action. Yes.
Yes.
It was great.
And Diggle saving Oliver's butt.
That's par for the course, though. I like that we haven't. I both love and hate the fact that we haven't glossed over this whole Lila thing, because honestly, I'm just gonna say bros before, even though that's his wife. I'm just saying, like, it's been like 7-8 months at this point. Let it go.
Yeah.
She's safe. She's sound. Nothing actually happened. I know your trust was violated, but dude, Oliver, when he gave you his secret, he poisoned you. I'm just saying, that's a physical violation.
He gave him the broody gene.
Exactly. I'm just saying, I want them to make up. I love that relationship, and they never have lived up to that potential, and I just hate to see contrived drama for the sake of contrived drama.
Well, and I love that Lila was one calling Diggle out on it.
Yes, of course. That's what wives are for, Kelly.
That's right.
And baby Sarah, wasn't she so cute?
Adorable.
She got big.
Yep.
I don't think that's
what happens to kids. I blinked and mine's in high school.
I know. I feel like Ellie was like in 6th grade or something when I met you. Having that same effect, like, vicariously here. So our new villain is Damien Dark. He was a contender to be the head of the demon, and now he's running Hive. And Hive, of course, has a connection to Diggle. Diggle is hiding that connection from Oliver, and Oliver is not spilling everything he knows about all things mystical.
Secrets kill people.
Thank you, especially in superhero shows.
Yes.
So they're calling it mystical energy manipulation. What?
Mysticism.
Okay, I mean, this is just a full-blown comic book show now. We have magic, mysticism, Lazarus pits, high-tech stuff that does not exist in the real world for at least another 6 years. Thank you, 3D printers.
And the Flash running in and out.
Yes, exactly. And I love how they were like, maybe we should have a Flash day too. I'm like, we already had an Arrow day. What the hell are you talking about? Didn't we? Did I imagine that from last season?
Well, there was the day that he said he was coming back.
No, at the beginning where Lance is talking about his promotion and he's like, I'm going to call off the task force. Like, calling off the task force is pretty much Arrow day at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. It was Damien Dark. Played by the lovely Neil McDonough. I don't know. I really don't know what to make of Damien Dark. I don't know what to make of this mysticism. I feel like it's a plot device to bring... I don't even know if I want to say the spoiler, but it should be pretty obvious if you're following Legends of Tomorrow that this is literally just the plot point to bring Sarah back, and then it's going to fizzle out like so many of the plot points do on Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't be the big bad for the whole season. We never really have that. There's always somebody pulling those strings.
Right.
So what do you think, Damien's... We're actually going to have a full... I mean, 22 more episodes of Damien Dark. Do you see it happening?
I don't know. I mean, okay, so the question is going to be, is what's going on time-wise going to affect the Arrowverse, too? What's going on in the Flash?
I think we'll get that answer starting with episode, 6, leading into episode 8, which, of course, is another crossover.
Right. I think that's what's going to get interesting is, are we going to how are we going to handle time travel? Which they're going to have to answer before Legends of Tomorrow, obviously.
Or maybe not.
Or start to address how they're going to handle time travel. Because that's a major conundrum. Because depending on how they do time travel, wow. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I was all for that kind of time travel for the Flash at the end of last season, but now I feel like the time has passed for that. So any time travel that they do is almost just like only to a certain point can they go, and then they can go no further. Do you know what I mean?
So, but are there fixed points? Are there events that you cannot
Yeah, I
change?
definitely think this is Doctor Who time travel we're dealing with.
Okay. Because with Rip Hunter, you're going to have a lot of timey-wimey stuff going on,
Exactly. That's
I'm
why I think they're
afraid.
gonna go with the Doctor Who route, definitely. Not only because of who plays the lovely Rip Hunter. What's up, Arthur? Just because it's easier that
Well,
way.
but because people understand it.
I think Doctor Who time travel is pretty straightforward, honestly.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
I grew up with it, so I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I grew up in like sci-fi, so for me, it's just kind of like whatever. I don't know how casual fans are really gonna feel about that.
Well,
Because
some
Arrow fans are
people,
very casual at this point, let's just be honest. Whereas The Flash seems like they have a pretty consistent demo and following. Do you know what I mean?
right, right. It's going to be interesting to see who tunes into Legends of Tomorrow. And
Fans.
it's also, well, yeah, you know what I'm saying, though. Which audience or
I
how
think
much
it's
they
going to be
draw.
more the Flash audience simply because they have Dominic Purcell and Wentworth Miller, who were like just the two biggest bad recurring bads on the Flash, and they have their
Mm-hmm.
own following that kind of like Prison Break was very intricate in the first two
Right.
seasons with their planning and things like that, and that's what Legends of Tomorrow seems like it might have to be for a couple of episodes. So it's very
Mm-hmm.
heavily serialized, and I feel like yeah, that's who's going to be watching it. With Arrow, you can actually kind of not watch a couple of episodes of Arrow and watch Arrow again, and you really haven't missed much. So I'm just, and I don't mean that in a bad way. A lot of TV networks actually like it like that, very procedural
Mm-hmm.
esque, and I kind of honestly do miss the villain of the week.
Yeah,
I
I
love the
agree.
thematics that they had in the first two seasons. I just kind of miss those elements. I'm the first person to love a dramatic serialized show, but I don't know. Something has gotten lost in translation as of late for Arrow, and this episode just highlights it. It's good in parts, but it's messy in others.
I was happy that we got the action back,
Mm-hmm.
and I was happy that we got the plot twists, the two big reveals.
Yeah,
That was good.
I did not see the Lance thing working for Damien Dark coming at all.
No, and that was great. I was glad they slammed me in the face with that.
But when you have a plot twist that
It's like
don't come
take
out that comes out of nowhere, doesn't that seem a little sloppy? Like, shouldn't there be breadcrumbs?
well, maybe we have seen it.
We're gonna get that flashback episode.
Well, or maybe we've missed something. You know what I'm saying? Little things. Maybe little things were there that we didn't catch because who would have suspected?
True. Or maybe Lance isn't Lance after all.
Or yeah, maybe he's been replaced.
It's just so weird. Like I said, it was a good twist, definitely. But at the same time, I like a twist I can see coming. So I'm gonna have to probably go back
Could
over this weekend and watch it about 3 times.
could he be a Lance from a different timeline?
Ooh, Kelly, now you talking my lingua. I like that idea. I don't think that they would
I
go
mean,
there on Arrow with that just yet, but I would love that.
that could be really fun.
What if he's Eddie Thawne in a new Eddie Thawne? What if he's Ebor Thawne in a new meat suit?
That could be. Who knows? Or oh, they could have all kinds of fun with it. I mean, something, I mean, obviously, if it really is our
something's really wrong
architect
if
of lands,
it's our Quentin.
yeah, then something really, really, really big is being held over his head. I don't think it would be just Laurel.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's got to be something huge.
It's
Which makes me wonder, did he do something in his past that he's not proud of?
Oh, I'm sure there's tons of Quentin Wizard.
You know what I'm saying? Is there, I mean, or is he from a different timeline? Or is he, I mean, there could be tons of, or is he under some weird mystic voodoo curse or something?
Ooh, I like that. I don't know what's going on, but it's interesting. But the thing about Arrow and mysteries is that they actually don't tend to last long. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because we pretty much found out who killed Sarah relatively quickly, right?
Right.
And what was the mystery before that? When everybody else was going to find out that Blood wasn't who he said he was, and who was the benefactor that financed Moira's campaign and things of that nature. We go pretty quick with them. But I think that this definitely should last a bit longer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would play it up for all it's worth.
Me too.
I mean, we kept Henry in prison for a whole year. He could stretch out a mystery a little bit longer.
This ain't the Flash, unfortunately, which is weird to say because it's literally almost all the same people. But um, I don't know how I feel about. I feel like Laurel and Thea going behind Diggle's back was like the ultimate betrayal.
Yeah.
I mean, they really needed Oliver, really? I didn't see it.
I think right.
Felicity,
well,
of course.
Yeah. They are messing with their team dynamic seriously. I mean, I think they wanted a reason to get the two of them together to bury the hatchet, besides it being, a dire situation. But that wasn't the way to do it.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Diggle's helmet. It doesn't even conceal his identity.
Mr. I am the law. He looks like Judge Dredd.
I don't, where did it come from?
I don't know.
I thought it was like an old Adam prototype helmet or something, maybe.
I don't know. It just reminds me of Judge Dredd.
You should at least have, glasses behind, little black Ray-Bans behind.
or Ray's, super chango, face shield?
Something. Or at least grease paint.
Yes.
Something. It just bugs the heck out of me. I hope that we get kind of a backstory to that. Because, I mean, it's interesting and unique. And, he's trying.
Right.
Anyway. So they tried to blow up a train station. And I'm like, how many train stations can actually be blown up? That's the Flash did it, Heroes has done it. So many shows have done it.
Yeah, but I think they were trying to point out, okay, the city's really trying to rebuild, and these people are trying to demoralize the city.
Yeah.
That was the point.
I was like, Star City is now, Detroit, basically. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're filing bankruptcy in the next episode.
Pretty much, actually.
I mean, and it makes sense because they said that the Legends of Tomorrow was pulling from Justice League International, which was kind of based in Detroit. And, I think that it would be interesting to actually explore a hopeless city and a hero trying to give back that hope. Especially now that he's declared that his name is Green Arrow, and they keep telling us that, this is going to be the comic book Green Arrow that you know. So I very much think that if Arrow goes into season 7, we can very much see Oliver becoming the mayor, losing his, his vigilante garb and all that stuff. And that's something I actually want to see for him. I want to see him be the bright, shiny beacon of hope for his city, because that's that's in
Mm-hmm.
the comic books, and that's what makes me happy. And this is a really good step forward. But we have to lose so much along the way that it just scares me. Everything that makes the show bearable for me. Theo, well, Laurel will stick around, obviously, unless they have a Birds of Prey reboot or something. But Felicity very much has a chance to be off, if not this season, the next, and so on and so forth. So it's a really scary thing to think. Like, to get to the point where I want Oliver to be, that he has to lose everything that I love about him. That's scary for me.
Yes.
Anyway, enough of that. Who was your favorite character this week?
Oh. Hmm. I I'm gonna go with our lovely Quentin Lance
Really?
for the shocker.
I did not see
The
that
shocker
coming.
was great. I needed that. Shake me up a bit.
Did you think the Arrow stop wasn't going to be able to surprise you?
I did. It's gotten so canned
Hmm.
that it was getting really predictable, and I'm glad that they totally made me go, "What?"
I think
Because I totally did.
for me, it's definitely. I'm gonna give it to Felicity, actually, and that's a big shocker for people who have been listening to this podcast for a while. But I like that Felicity was bored in suburbia. I like that she still wanted to help her friends, and you know she's not ready for Oliver. Oliver's not ready for her. This just keeps hammering home that point for me. I want Felicity to be a character in her own right outside of love interest, and the sooner that happens, the better that character is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I did. She was funny, and she felt the most human she's felt in a really long time. She felt smothered, and I totally felt smothered
Right.
for her vicariously. Oh, so it's good to have them back. I'm interested to see how this dynamic's gonna go now with Felicity probably siding with Oliver because she's got those love goggles on. Um,
Sure. They're like big beer goggles, only different.
yes, exactly. Only they're really quite the same, honestly. Because love is a drug. It has a chemical formula. Anyway,
Endorphins, endorphins.
serotonin. Um, yeah. So, what was your favorite scene?
Mm. Motorcycle chase.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that was awesome.
Um,
Thea was so funny.
this is so cool, and I'm like, yes. Although Thea's acting weird,
Mm-hmm.
so Dark Side Thea is coming to a TV near you very soon. Okay. I think my favorite moment was absolutely when they kicked him out of the plane.
That was hilarious.
It's like, wait, what is that? Oh, my favorite line had to be what Felicity said. She said, "I hate to break it to you, Mister. That sounds awfully hopeful."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
I like that they're trying to take a lighter tone because goodness knows the show needs it. Um, I
Yes.
just hate that Star City's falling apart, especially now that we've officially renamed it Star City. Now it's falling apart. How dare you?
Yeah. Yeah. We've got, well, they wanna, I'm sure, excuse me, they want to bring him back. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of going to be the hope. I mean, they renamed it besides in honor of Ray to bring back hope to the city.
Yeah,
And so the team is going to try to rebuild that hope.
I hope so. I don't think that it should be done by the end of the season. I think it should be left as a work in progress until the series ends. Definitely though.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Ever since okay, so both the Flash and Arrow kind of got the spiel about them bringing the madness to their cities, respectively, right?
Right, basically.
So yeah, it was weird to hear it on both shows and one.
The Batman argument?
Yeah, it's kind of true. I mean, the rich would have just kept getting richer, and sure, Glaze would have been blown up, but he would have rebuilt it with corporate cronyism. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
It's America. That's kind of how we do things now. So I don't know. It's a weird take that they've taken, and I want them to get back to kind of the heart and soul of themes and things like that, because everything else is just kind of lost in translation and the focus is off. And I feel like they're trying to say something with Damien Dark and Hive and all
Right.
that, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the great.
I would say
I
would say C+.
Oh my God, not again, Kelly! We just did this on the Flashpoint. I'm so serious.
Well, okay, I will give the caveat again. We do not talk about the show or the grade prior to the podcast. So, just so you know, we do share two halves of one brain.
Do you want do you want pizza? I'm in the mood for pizza.
I actually thought about having that for dinner, but somebody owed me dinner, so I had burrito. But
oh, we are fine.
I recommend the stuffed crust DiGiorno.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree. It was very average. But it did set up things, but it was just kind of sloppy. The pacing was off. It was too much velocity, and I don't know. It just feels like fan pandering, and when you have to resort to fan pandering, it makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm. But I think they kind of had to do something to come back from that drive into the sunset. You know what I mean? So they had to kind of
that should have never happened.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? If they're going to do that, which they did, then they've got to come back with something. So, but I'm hopeful because I saw a lot of the things that I missed. I missed the action. I missed being surprised. So thank you for surprising me.
Definitely.
Is there a lot to go? Yeah, absolutely. But I'm more hopeful than I've been for a while for Arrow. They've got a lot of stuff to fix, but
yeah.
But we got the action, which was why we mainly tune into Arrow.
Very true. I'm gonna say the
music.
action for Laurel, they have really stepped up Katie Cassidy's stunt choreography, and I appreciate it.
Yes.
That was a really good highlight for me. But it was just an average episode, and for it to be a premiere, I was just like, wow, we spent way too much time in that suburban nightmare. Like, I just couldn't.
Yeah.
But a lot of people tuned in actually to see this was like the second highest rated episode, premiere episode of Arrow since the premiere. It got a 1.1 in the demo. There was 2,670,000 people watching. So yeah.
Well, and Arrow and Flash are both trending in top TV episodes right now on iTunes.
Yep. Really proud of them. I'm really glad. I hope that they can keep the momentum. I hope those 2,670,000 people stick around, and then it grows and grows and gets back up to where the Flash is. Because it's great for both shows and the CW, and just Warner Brothers and the DC universe overall, for these shows to really just keep continuously knocking it out of the park.
Yes.
Almost every week that I bring up the ratings, I say they do almost as well as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC. And that still holds true this season, people. So I'm always really impressed.
That's amazing.
Just happy. I'm happy to be back. I am hopeful about this season. I'm very eager to get Oliver into being the Green Arrow from the comic books that I know and love. So Stephen Amell can actually sink his teeth into something meaty and meaningful and have more pathos and not have everything bite him in the butt from the island.
Yes.
We're almost over with this. This is the last season of flashbacks.
Woot woot.
But we did get a flash forward, so hopefully that's not something they keep. Let's do some shameless plugs.
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and about everywhere else that matters at SuperSquint. That's SuperSquint. And you can listen to me on Before the Bat with Phil and Tyler, and of course on Flashpoint with the lovely Miss Lilith.
Well, you can also hear me and Phil over on World's Finest, which you can find out on the feeds for Before the Bat as well as Channel 52. You can also find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. I'm on Tumblr. It's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And please be sure to check out my blog, littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. And just a friendly reminder, please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us over on iTunes. We can also be found on Lisbon.com as well as Stitcher and SoundCloud. Just search the Flashpoint.
Make sure you download.
Well, this has been Lilith.
And Kelly.
And this is Queen Consolidated, signing off.